Hello, this is Brian and Trish Sykes, and we wanted to document something that we're in the process of launching on.
This will be a little bit of a catch-up since the last one.
We actually did a video. If you've missed that, I'll put it up here somewhere so you can find it. Let me tell you what we're doing. So this is the first time you come to the channel, then here's the idea. Trish and I are looking at less than 9 months from now, we're going to hit the road. And by hit the road, with that, we're going to travel across the United States. We both work remote. We have the freedom to be able to do that. We aren't encumbered with a mortgage currently. We'll talk about some of those things a little bit later on. But really the focus here is how we're going to go about doing it, where we're going, why we're doing it, what our intent is behind it, and then some of the things along the way. So you're going to kind of learn with us, as we're figuring this thing out. So we'll start with, I'm Brian, and I'm the dad of 5 guys that are John, Ben, Nick, Matt, and Wes. And by the time we hit the road, my youngest will have graduated from high school. Jonathan and his wife, Emily, they live in Salt Lake City, Utah. Jonathan does marketing. So does his wife, Emily. Next in my lineup is Benjamin. He's currently in Boone at Appalachian, where he is studying for his master's in physics. Next is Nicholas, and he and his wife Gabby are in Germany, where they're stationed. Matthew is currently at Sand Hills Community College, where he is working on getting his landscape degree. He launched called Sykescapes. Matthew is dating Mallory, and both of them graduated last year.
I've got SJ, who is in Colorado with Noah. SJ works for the same organization I do, and Noah is in insurance. So they've just plopped there May of this year. They were in Richmond, and then we helped move them to Colorado in May. And then next down is Fletcher, and she is in the Raleigh area working. She has her own tattoo business, and she is with Jaden, who is doing electrician stuff and works for Goodyear. I think they're going to be in this general area for the foreseeable future. Yeah. And then I have Mel, and he is at Western Carolina, big music guy. And so when he's not doing college coursework during the regular school year, he goes immediately into touring in the summers with Drum Corps International. So we don't see him a lot. He stays very busy, has a very intense course load, and he's studying music education, and he's actually double majoring, so he'll come out with 2 bachelors for education and music. Melson's a junior this year at Western Carolina. He dates Abby, who is a senior this year at Western Carolina in theater, but it's got a specialty in like
set
tech
design.
And set design.
Yeah. Now, how did we come together? That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But we've been married since 2020, and we got married literally as COVID had shut down everything. We got married that week. In fact, the pastor had touched base with us and said, if you guys want to get married, we need to bump that up a little bit sooner. So
like Thursday, get in here.
We got married in a empty church, with the exception of the pastor, the youth pastor, the secretary, and the pastor's wife. So
they were all in separate areas of a giant sanctuary. You couldn't all be close together. We got to be close. But.
Yeah. So we basically got married and began this life together. And just as kind of a start to how this is even possible, we really didn't cover this, I don't think, in the first video, but we set out when we got married that number one, we were going to be debt-free, and we're going to do debt-free living. So we spent the first 6 months to truly get debt-free, and we've been able to become and live debt-free since.
So there's all steps, and there's been goals that we've had along the way. We've cash flowed a lot of things.
Yeah.
Being debt-free allowed us to do that instead of, okay, we're out of debt. Now we have this thing we have to pay for, and it's big, so let's run the credit card. We just save up for stuff and keep a fund to cover things. So it's called emergency fund. So we got out of debt really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Built up a big emergency fund, big being like if something happened to one of us, or something happened to the bills or the incomes, we would be able to cover our regular living expenses for 6 months now.
Yeah.
Actually, way more than that now, but that'll be another story. The next thing we decided to do was start saving for as big a down payment as possible to put on our one-day home.
Right.
We rent now. We've been renting. That has been actually a massive blessing. I think the tides are turning around people's ideas about what renting does or takes from you, and we find that it actually adds a lot of value to our lives and our goals.
Yeah.
It really gives us traction to save without a huge responsibility to chunk away at what money we do have in home repairs, maintenance, things that happen with home ownership. It gives us time to build a fund to handle those things once a home is ours.
Right.
Also to build a big down payment, because we ultimately want to be in a paid-for home of our own with a large fund to help with things that they come up, emergencies, roof, HVAC blows, all these things. That's our ultimate goal, is to live truly debt-free in a unmortgaged home. Oh, another part of how we started was even before we were married. We started looking at our bills separately and then what it would look like together. And then we made a massive decision before we got married, when we get married, let's absolutely base our expenses and bills only on one income, period. No exceptions, only on one income. And that turned out really great because we didn't know COVID was coming,
right.
And COVID affected income. So it set us up really well to, while we had a hit on income, we still were able to put massive amounts down and pay off our debt during the 6 months, from, March to, it wasn't even 6 months. Well, maybe it was March to September. 6 months of 2020, the most intense months of COVID, because we had, kind of made that decision beforehand. It really helped us to kind of still meet our goals. So that's been really important, to let the rest of the trajectory of our goals and meeting them work. We had to get that first part right.
Now, with this thought process, a lot of you probably would look at this and go, okay, there's no way we could ever do that. For one, try to live debt free. I've got to have my credit card in order to what ifs. But we account for that with our emergency fund. And also on the financial side, the notion of living off of one income does give us a lot of flexibility. And for Trish, you've had a traditional job of working for a company, and in her traditional role also, the amazing thing about it is it's not completely traditional because she's allowed and able to work remotely. So all of her contacts are over the phone with a computer, and so that kind of engagement's really been beneficial for us through COVID to have a steady flow.
That setup for me was not because of COVID. My work has always been remote.
Right.
It's just the nature of the work that I do with the organization I do it with, and so
yeah,
that worked out great for COVID because I just didn't even blink. We just kept on moving.
But I'll tell you, you do what you want to do. And I think that's really the key with this whole thing is we get so many people who are like, well, I could never do that, or they look at it as such an odd thing because it doesn't fit the traditional flow. By breaking things up, the notion of, well, why do we have to do it that way? That's been really refreshing. And it's also allowed us to come to this place. It's funny because a few years ago is when we first hit upon this idea of where do we want to go next. We knew that we wanted to leave, even though this is a beautiful town. We love Southern Pines, Pinehurst area.
Everybody wants to live here.
Right. I mean, it's a great place to live, and I've raised all of my children here. Trish basically...
I've been here 11 years.
Yeah, so this is the longest place Trish's kids had ever been because of military before, which had them all over the place. But now we're kind of looking at where do we want to go next. And for me, and for both of us, we really wanted to leave Moore County and not necessarily leave North Carolina forever, but really we wanted to get out and see where God would have us next. And so part of that process is why don't we go and live in different places for a time? And this came about because first we did a trip to Texas with an Airbnb. And living there for a week, we're like, if you got to stay here for longer, you could really get a sense of the place, what it's about, how the flows could be, great place to eat, things that you can do, and really get a sense of the community and the people and the vibe, and if it'd be a place that would fit us. And so we began talking, I guess.
It was in 2021.
That's what I was thinking. Around 2021, we began talking about the idea of what if we decided to travel where we could live a month at a time in different locations and kind of get a taste of an area and see if this is where we want to be.
And definitely more aimed at the living in a space and not looking at it as vacation. Although we definitely will be weekend warriors and, evening warriors where we want to live in a place. We want to be and get out and be a part of the place and understand the place and its culture and just like you said, the vibe. So we're not looking at it, every place we stop as like vacation mindset where it's like, well, let's eat out and let's go pay tickets for this and go do this. It's not going to necessarily be like that in every place we stop. Some places will be sheerly for enjoyment because we think we know. We probably won't want to live there as our forever place. Of course, we may get there and be like, actually, haven't thought about it. So
yeah.
I wanted to say something too, because you mentioned, living on one income and how a lot of people are like, we can do that. Or, what do you do with emergency? You have to have a credit card for emergencies, for backup, for what if something happens, which we've basically decided to independently manage what if these things happen. We've come up with every scenario. We've encountered many of the scenarios.
We have.
And tested it out and come to find out, it works really well for us to manage our emergencies and everything else independently beforehand. Like, why not just be your own credit card?
Right.
Why not just be your own bank?
We kind of got to do this, and we'll get into this story as we kind of go forward, but, Trish lost her dad this year. Mm-hmm. I lost my dad 2 years ago. But in the loss of her dad, there was now the responsibility of kind of helping her mom and watching in that space. And one of the things that we saw that was going to be needed would be another vehicle for her mom. Her mom was driving your dad's truck, mm-hmm. And then he had a T-Bird, neither of which was ideal for her and her living situation. So we literally were able to purchase the truck and the car from her
to liquidate the estate because it was part of the estate. So it's to
right.
kind of put cash back into her estate by liquidating some of the physical property.
Yeah, and so this was a way that we could then take the money or portions of that money and buy another car for her to have. So doing all of this without even having to bring a bank into the equation. And the liberty of that is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. There's no time sensitivity that we can't manage.
Right.
It's a feeling of freedom, and the way you cannot measure the stress that it just wipes off of you to just right. know we can handle it. We can handle it. Whatever happens, we can handle it. Did not expect to lose my dad. It was a very tragic, sudden, unexpected thing. And so to just be able to know it's going to be okay, as far as it's not going to destroy my mom, it's not going to destroy our finances, like we can handle this.
Right.
And we can be helpful, which is our ultimate goal. Like, we like to be helpful. And so that's another part of saving, is that we have a generosity account.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice to be able, when you see a need come up and you feel called to help, you literally can do that. And it's not that it's not a sacrifice, we still feel the sacrifice. So I wanted to make the point again, a lot of times people hear how we do life and finances and they're like, that's ridiculous, we can't do that. We can't live on one income, we only have one income, we're a one income family. And to that I say, just first of all, figure out your why. Why would you want to have some cushion in your budget? Get on the same page with your spouse for the why, because it's a motivator. Like, figuring out why you would even put yourself through that, because we've been through it. Like, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was easy,
right.
but we had motivation in what we were trying to get to.
Yeah.
And so if you're a one income family, consider living on less than you make. Somehow
right.
figuring out, and I know there's been a lot of post-COVID struggles with employment and pay being adequate to meet, inflationary costs on groceries and utilities. And I don't want to dismiss that at all, but I'll just say for us, it's been a mixture of really hard work, sacrifice, and, some blessings too. We're in a place that our rent is really nicely low comparatively. Mm-hmm. It's only a portion of our household income, which we set sort of ratios and parameters, and that helps us too to know, okay, what's too much rent for what we live on?
Right.
But then that sets the budget for the road. It's
It does. And actually, one of the cool things in this whole process is we've taken how much we pay for rent, how much we're paying for electric, water, internet, all the different utility and elements that we are paying for living in this space. That became our budget moving into the next space of when we begin traveling. That's our road funds. And that just means how much we're going to pay for the place we're going to stay for a month at a time. And what you'll find is like Airbnb and VRBO, they have an extended stay option. So if you stay over 28 days in a location,
you get a discount.
Yeah, you get a discount. And which for us is going to be close to what we're paying on our monthly expenses. So basically it's not going to cost us more, except for, of course, we're going to be on the road, so we'll have more gas.
Storage is a monthly fee.
Right.
Which, again, the benefit of having cash is that as we move into a contract with a storage facility, we would like to negotiate, hey, we know we're going to at least be on the road 18 months. Like, how about we pay it in full all 18 months and you give us a discount?
Right.
Then it's paid for, so we're not managing it in our monthly budget, and we got a deal. Like, I really feel like that is some of the freedom you can buy for yourself by sacrificing a little and saving.
Yeah. So what's next for us? Well, right now we're in the process of fixing this place to go. And what I mean by that is we're getting rid of things that we know we're not going to keep. And this has been an interesting conversation. Like the couch we're on, this thing has survived a lot of kids.
It is funky, y'all.
It is time.
So bad.
But like, we don't want to invest in something new because this is going away. And so basically we just want a place to sit our butts until we hit the road. And that's why, like, this is something that's not going to go.
And I keep joking, like, there's a brace on the back. It's an L-shaped couch, and there's a brace on the back of one that's not, I don't know if it's going to last. It has so far. It is not broken yet.
It just takes one wrestling match between the boys and it's gone.
One lean, and I keep joking. I'm like, I mean, if it doesn't last till next June, we're going to be sitting on beanbags. I'm so cool with that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because, like, it's just a place to sit. I don't know. We have a different perspective on things.
And even comfort. Like our ideal around comfort is, you're as comfortable as you want to be in the sense of what you choose. It's not just about the physical aspect, it's your mental and your emotional elements of how you approach things. We tend to be very content people. We don't need a lot to make us happy. We are generally joyful. And we'll talk on some of those things as we kind of go forward. But, the beauty of what we're doing is we get to enjoy our time together. We've got the freedom to do it. As we travel, we are carrying a fur baby. Herschel is Trish's black schnauzer, a mini schnauzer. And he's
9. He just turned 9.
Okay, so 9. So this guy, he's going to be an interesting companion as we travel. We've already done some road trips with him, and he actually does a great job on the road.
Really, really well. He's a great traveler.
Yes. When he's at a location, he thinks he's supposed to be with you the entire time. So we've literally had him howling at us as we're walking out the door.
Relatively speaking, since I've had him as a puppy, he gets to have me all the time because I've worked from home. He doesn't get the coming and going, the daily routines of, my people leave in the morning and then they always come back in the evening. He doesn't have that.
Right.
So he kind of panics, I think, every time we leave. Sometimes he, even if we walk to the mailbox, he has to watch in the window and make sure.
Yeah.
So when we're in a new place every month to 3 months, that's going to be pretty jarring for him the first couple of days. We found it's like the first couple times we leave, he's noisy. I don't know how long, but we have a little camera with audio now, so we can tell how long. Also, we can talk to him. So I think that's going to be super helpful on the road too when we settle in those first couple days, because we're going to be leaving that place. Like we're going to be coming and going. And he'll go on some of the outings with us, I'm sure.
It's also his endurance isn't as good as it used to be.
Right,
so now that he's 9, when we do our daily 3 to 5 mile walks, he's good for about a good mile, and then he's ready to go home.
Yeah, he's slowing down, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So next in the process is, like I mentioned, we're going to begin getting rid of things.
So our first step is we literally walked around the house and we put our hand on a thing or put our eyes on a thing, and we're like, there were categories. It's like there's either absolutely this is worth storage fees because I want it on the other side of this for whatever reason.
Right.
Most of it that we've said, I really don't want that to go. I want to keep it, has been emotionally, an emotional attachment. If it's just because it serves us well in function, it's going to depend on size and if we really love it. And then we ask the question, if it's I don't know. It's like if this went out of here today, or if we landed in our forever home today and that wasn't on the truck that was delivered, would we miss it? Would we remember? Would we be sad if it left today? Would we be sad if somebody could use it today and it left our possession? So that is a real good determinant. So what we'll do is we'll kind of clump up the absolutes, see how much space that takes up, and then the rest of it is basically like functionality, what could help us in the next place that we don't have to rebuy. But again, if you're thinking it's going to make a difference of $100 to size up in a storage, the next size up in storage times 24 months, that's $2,400 to hold on to what we could replace for $100 on the other side of it. It's like, is it really functional? So most of the things we have said, absolutely this stays. It's all like emotional attachment, nostalgia.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff around the kids and just even our own history, our own pictures and things like that. So I don't know. The biggest thing I think we're keeping that's size big is the table that Brian built when we got married. It was built with a lot of meaning. And so I think the chairs could go. They were a great deal, but we can find another great deal. But table staying. So that kind of establishes the base size we need because it's a very long table.
Yeah.
And then everything else seems to be kind of in boxes, like we're going to box things up.
Mm-hmm. So with this process then, it's something personal that we want to hold on to because it's really irreplaceable. And then for things that aren't irreplaceable, things that we literally can get rid of, then we start with, is there a kid that would like it?
Right.
If no, then is it worth selling to maybe make something from it, which we've sold a few things already. And that just becomes funds that we'll put back into our travel plans. And then a lot of things we literally just bag up.
Or give away, if we know a neighbor. We've given a lot of kids stuff to our neighbor. They have 2 little boys, which they said they'll watch this. So, hey, Tatum and Tucker. So as we come across stuff in the garage the boys don't use anymore, we're like, we know who will use this. So
right.
That's kind of fun to give our things away. I feel like it's a really good way to extend the life and use of something and the money that we put into it, which, we don't have a lot of fine things as far as super expensive things. But it's really nice to see something continue to have some life and use. It feels less wasteful when you can give it to someone needs it or wants it.
Yeah. So,
and then there's obviously Goodwill or, drop-offs for donation sites of whatever kind. Mostly that's like going to be soft things like clothes and or little stuff that's just not worth, like nobody that we know would need or want it, and it's not worth really selling on Marketplace because that can be a whole thing to manage. So it's usually higher dollar things in good condition that we would consider selling on Marketplace. And then when we list things, they get about 2 weeks to a month, depending on the item. And if there's not at least inquiries or interest, or if it's not out of here, we make it get out of here. And it's like, okay, it's not meant to be sold. It's meant to bless somebody else. So there it goes.
So if you find our Facebook listings, the things that we put out there are actually worth something.
Yeah, we don't.
Which is kind of funny to us because we're putting them out there so somebody can get a deal. But again, that's just a side note. It's sort of this whole process of paring down. So we only are putting away the things that we really want to keep. Our next big step then is once we've kind of gotten everything wrapped up, cleaned up, and this place is boxed to go, we're going to be hitting the road. Our first plan is right now. This changes every single time we talk about it, but we're looking at launching out about the middle of June of next year, so June 2026. We're thinking of spending 3 to 4 weeks in Germany. This is where my son and his wife are located currently. So we'll spend time with them because we love them, and it's a great chance to kind of see them and get to explore the area. Then we're going to come back and visit with our other kids and the different locations they are. So that would be Denver, Colorado, Salt Lake City, Utah. Who knows?
We're trying to meet Mel on tour because that's during the season that he will not be in one place, and so we'll meet him at his finals. The championship is in Indianapolis in early August, so we know we'll catch that. That'll be a squat place for us.
He should be at the in San Antonio. The Alamo Dome.
Yeah, the Southwest Championships, and that's July.
So.
And we don't know what's going to come up for our kids next summer.
No.
Between now and then, our kids may have some big things happening or changes in their plans or locations that, again, thank goodness we have, financial flexibility, time flexibility. We can move this thing around the way we need to accommodate all our people because we love our people and we want to make sure that we're connecting in the ways that are important to us and them. And you never know what next summer is going to look like. So we're staying very open-minded.
So the wrap up of seeing the kids, we believe that'll wrap up when we go to Indianapolis for the finals for DCI. And following that, Wesley, somewhere in there, Wesley will probably be either heading off to college or setting up to go to the community college here. Not sure what he's going to do with that.
Again, we're having to stay flexible, and I like that. I think it's good for our brains to constantly be able to and be ready for, and sometimes not ready, but we do it anyway, change. And I think it's really good to scratch our brains and stay flexible.
So our thought is, so that puts us August, end of August, and then moving into September. And so then the plan is, where do we go from there? And our thought right now in the rough is maybe starting somewhere in the Greenville, South Carolina area, staying there for a few weeks, and then making our way slowly across the country. So we have good friends that live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and so we thought that's a great location. We visited there before, just visiting them, but the notion of staying there for a month could be really neat. Plus, I don't think it would hurt Trish's feelings too bad to be around her best friend for a month. And then we're looking at moving down maybe towards Huntsville, Alabama. The northern part of Alabama will be a great place. This is part of the thing, though, is how do you decide where you're thinking about going? And so for us, in a week from now, I'm going to be 50, or 51, excuse me. So, we're looking at, while I'm pretty healthy and I enjoy the functional body that I've got now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, things might be different. And so we were thinking of some things that are important to us for our forever home. One of those things is we want to live near good medical. The idea,
a good medical infrastructure.
So here in North Carolina, we've got some fantastic medical.
Really do.
So here in Moore County, we've got First Health, which has been fantastic. My kids have been there way too many times for broken bones and illnesses. And Trish's daughter Fletcher,
inpatient there.
Yeah, been inpatient there. So great facilities here. But then just north of us, we've got Duke University, we've got UNC Chapel Hill, both fantastic medical. And then in Winston-Salem, there's Forsyth, which was absolutely amazing. Great care for her dad when he was at the end of life. But as we're kind of looking at these things, like this is something we know that will be important for us, is to be fairly close to medical.
My mom is also moving to Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
I just found out yesterday, so
that's medical,
another thing.
Right. Medical is important. We also love the idea of being within an hour of a major airport. This is important because we got kids all over. So the ability to get into a car, get in an airplane, and be to our kids within a few hours would be very valuable to us. So here we are an hour south of RDU, and so that's a great airport. We've also flown out of Charlotte.
I think Greensboro is pretty good.
Yeah,
too.
I've heard Greensboro is actually pretty good as well. So here is actually a pretty decent hub, but again, we're looking to move out of this area.
North Carolina, though.
North Carolina is still great. So I grew up in Hillsboro, North Carolina, which is Orange County, which is where Chapel Hill, UNC Chapel Hill is. So it's it's kind of one of those things when you're a kid, you can't wait to get away. But it's really not a bad location if I ended up back there. So we're looking at medical, we're looking at airport, and then the other thing we're looking at is it'd be really nice to live near a college town. I do a lot of teaching. The notion of being able to be near a college could be an asset in that way. But also, it brings a lot more thought-provoking conversations and creativity when you're around a college town.
Yeah, the youth and vibrance and diversity, I think, that comes with major university towns we've been in and near. That's appealing to us.
And also, there tends to be a lot more food options that are, priced reasonably well. And so that's kind of fun when we travel and we're near a college town to find all the local hotspots food-wise. Also, we both like to be active. And by active, I don't mean we're not snowboarders and extreme sportists, but
we like to move around.
Yeah, we like to walk. We like to go on trails. We like to go hiking. We like to explore. And so being near parks would be fantastic. To be near water, we would absolutely love that. So living on a river or a lake, especially with lakes without alligators and crocodiles, would be fantastic. Yeah. So kind of thinking all of those things and putting them into a bowl and shaking them up and pulling out options. This is kind of where we're making our decisions. So right now, we know some of the general areas that we're interested in. And like I was mentioning, Greenville, Knoxville, Huntsville, and then we continue our way across the country.
Another thing that we're looking at is long-term, at least average affordability of housing. And that means a paid-off house is going to have still property taxes and homeowners insurance. And so because we will be without a mortgage one day, we will still have to owe property taxes and homeowners insurance. And so we want that amount to be reasonable and sustainable for less than we make. It's like living on less than we make. So
yeah, I mean, just to say at this very point, we've visited Texas every year now for several years, and we absolutely love Texas.
It's hot, but that's okay.
But right now, the property tax in Texas would be equal to what we'd probably pay in a mortgage or more. And so the notion of adding that to our expense is just a what would you call it? It's a payment that you're not really getting the full benefit from except for living in the state.
Right. And not that it wouldn't be sustainable. I mean, we look at sustainability financially speaking, but is that where we want, to pour sort of our priority into for sustainability? I don't know.
Especially when there's other options. And that's part of this travel is going to allow us to see places that we would like just as much as San Antonio and Austin, Texas, which we've already went to other places that we absolutely loved so far. So
the housing expense long-term, again, is a big rock that we're looking at as well. Another financial portion that we're looking at is retirement-friendly areas, not for lifestyle, but financially friendly areas for retirement. What are the taxes like on retirement incomes? What is the cost of living in the area? Not just housing, but like average grocery expenses in the area compared to the rest of the nation. What are the utilities like? There are some states where the electric or water bill, the average is just, it kind of makes me sick because I'm so used to what we pay. And so we'll have to take all of that into consideration. If we fall in love with a place and it's hitting a lot of the marks, we're going to have to dig down in those other numbers and make sure, we're not getting in over our heads. We're very thoughtful around that kind of thing. I love information and getting, I don't think am I ever going to get to the end of getting more information. It makes me feel safe to get information. So, as we might fall in love with a place or two, there's going to be layers of digging into, okay, what does this look like now? What does this look like long term? And what does this look like even when we aren't able, like we are now? Because we are not guaranteed to be able always in the ways we are now. We want to. We're going to try, but you never know. Right.
So just as kind of a wrap up with this, because we could keep going for hours, I'm confident. So what I think would be a really good wrap up on this portion is what we're looking at is where do we do next? And so we're trying to be very practical and very methodical in how we're approaching this whole thing. And what I think would be fun is really to share with you guys our entire experience. So you're coming along with us. You're going to see the things that we're seeing. You're going to experience and you're going to get the feedback. Like we're going to go to an area and we'll say, this is what we love about it. This is some of the things that maybe didn't hit on all cylinders. But it's going to be a way for you to kind of see along with us. And so we're kind of the guinea pigs for this whole experience to share what we've discovered and what we're uncovering.
And of course, that'll all be based on opinion, which is then based relatively on our temperaments and our personalities and our likes and dislikes. So there will be times when you guys may relate to us, and you're like, that sounds right. And other times when you're like, I mean, that might be fun for you, but I need more. It takes
Right.
very little for us to be very happy in our day-to-day life, even, much less on vacation or fun. I feel like all the time is fun. So I feel like we marvel at least every other day when we're out on our neighborhood walk. It's the same little route, and every single time we're on it, it's just like, man, this is great. I don't know. We have that temperament where I feel like we really enjoy everything we do. We can find good in it. We're looking for it anyway, so it's
We're
pretty
treasure
easy.
hunters.
Yeah, we really enjoy our life, and even the mundane, the daily. It doesn't feel like drudgery to me. It's really good.
Agreed.